And indeed, that is the emphasis of Calypso. It does not look backward. Going forward from one threshold to the next, it is mythological ground. And it is led by those heroes. Now, I am a person who tends to look at culture in terms of their contemporary relevance. I was actually brought to that by a 17-year-old that I had to teach, a young man at QRC. And he came to me one day and he said, look, I tired, everything is roots, 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 roots. Look, I'm looking for some fruits. And, you know, a 17-year-old, and he's right. So we need to turn around. We need to, the roots are there, the history is there. We can Google it and get any fact we want in a second. But we have no Google that can take us towards tomorrow. We have to submerge ourselves inside and find those inner resources that would help us shape our destiny and create what we want it to be. This is especially true from a colonized people. We have to live forward in our imaginations like no one else before. This depends on the choices that we make. Can we, like the Calypsonian who puts on a mask, he's a man who puts on a mask and he says, I will dedicate my life to ensure that I uphold my community and its values, and I will clarify every one of its relationships between husband and wife, between child and mother, between brother and sister. I will do it in terms of their love, in their sexual relations, in their religious relations. I am just going to be all over a pervasive presence, clarifying the values and clarifying the experiences, holding up a mirror so that my people don't have to do this work, but they can see the values that will keep the principles by which we live above our personalities. Now, if that Calypsonian did not do that, we people of different races, classes, and creeds would be falling apart. To the extent that he is powerful, or we make him powerful by our faith in that figure, is the extent to which he can help us keep our communities unified. We need that more than ever now, I would suggest to you. We need that more than ever now. There is only and has only ever been one Calypsonian, just one. In our modern time, that Calypsonian or that figure is roughly 200 years old. Over that period, that one Calypsonian, that epic figure, has been manifest in different mortal men. But it is one archetypal figure. And why this is important? Well, each of the men, each of the mortal men, is outfitted with a certain compositional or an interpretive ability that is appropriate to the time and place in which he is to do duty. So it changes according to generation. What our current monarch sings is not what Executor sang. What Executor sang is simply not what Melody did. The form evolves with the society. It is always that covenant. It is that covenant that is larger than the monarch, that is larger than the chorus. And we agree that this is how we are going to go forward, that this is a sacred relationship, and we will both uphold it. It's a call and it's a response, but who calls and who responds, sometimes that is not clear. Which is as it should be, fluid, circular, moving from one generation to the next, one cycle to the next. As we evolve, like that spiral mirabilis, spiral of life, it tells us that we are moving forward in time. By Kitchener, if we were to think of just one Calypsonian, one figure, if we were to, let us say, tune into the era of Kitchener, we would see, in terms of the evolution of that one figure, that this was a society that was ready to re-export its forms back to England to recolonize the one who had colonized us. We were ready to push it back and move outward. There is a bullish intent in terms of this momentous figure that has been coming through for centuries to expand outward and to conquer the world. But it is the world that is under the radar, the intellectual radar of, abstract intellectualization that came with industrialization. This bullish intent works under that radar with real men and real women and real children in communities. It conquers, it seeks to work just like the 6 and the 9. There is one side, the industrial spiral moving in one way. Well, this is a countervailing force. We're going to counteract that. This is about community. This is working under intellectual radar. This is about people who agree through its Calypsonian that the way that we receive information through inspiration, through revelation, subconscious content, prayer, all of these things, these two are valid guides in the world. Not just our mathematical formulae, how much I make this month and how much I go put aside for next month. Or not just the intellectualization that goes with logical sentences. No, there are other ways, other searchlights. These are the searchlights that allow us to express emotion, that allow us to hope, that allow us to believe. In the first system, that industrial system, mankind is simply an inefficient machine. And so we are eliminated. And the world is a problem. So we need to get in there, get the oil, cut down the trees, just feed that system. But in this system in which the Calypsonian is king, in which he is king, this has to do with hope. It has to do with desire. And it has above all to do with faith. Because as we say, it is mythological ground going forward. Now, I have to tell you that I wrote some points and I realized in talking that I've just gone past everything and ignored it all. Nevertheless, I'm just going to jump and go forward and don't take too much more time. Yes. Now, every individual who agrees to become a Calypsonian, he loses his mortal self in order to serve a greater social good. And so he wears a figurative mask. It's a mask by taking on a sobriquet, an allegorical name. It's not literally a mask, but a figurative one. And we believe so. Slinger Francisco would call himself Sparrow, and we believe he is Sparrow. And Leroy Callis will call himself Stalin, and we know we're dealing with Stalin, not with Leroy Callis. We participate in this mask. We agree that this is a mask figure, but it is a mask through which we can see, because he is the exemplar of that highest value, which is transparency. We must be able to see through what he says and see through this mask. He is accountable to us, to his community at all times. That is quite a value. This is a society that has such a person that has someone that is reporting and holding principle and keeping principle above separation and division and making it transparent every step of the way. This is a very critical figure. So his is a functional role to sing in defense of the values that sustain the community. Now, peering through that transparency, what do we see? We see a method. And the method, some call it negritude. The method, in fact, comes from Africa. And Africa's core value of that method is self-effacement as against self-maximization. In essence, the individual or a collective subsume themselves to a larger idea until they are possessed by it. And then they operate out of that possession, that spirit possessed. That is where the Calypsonian really works from. He is in love with the society that he serves. He wouldn't devote himself otherwise. And it is very tough to serve, people. Because we are pains in the ass, we are. It's very easy to advance ourselves, and I want, and I don't want, and I am feel, and I feel. And he must continually try to make that swirl sweet. Kitchener himself told me that the highest value in the Calypsonian is its sweetness. And you try to find a balance between that subconscious content wanting to come out all the time and the rational world in which we live. You have to bring it up from great depths and fit it to today and still keep that tenuous balance. It's the sort of balance that Robert has to when he wears his hat, his big hat that he have to balance. You don't balance it, and everything you bust. Society starts to fall. We are living at a time when we know that we don't really have balance. We know it in our hearts. We know it on the Calypsonian's terrain. It's in our hearts. We know it in our conscience. We know that we have to do better. We know that this office should serve an issue like that. I cannot give you your mandate, you know it already. You are the Calypsonian. But I am the chorus that will be looking on, demanding that we keep that covenant, that we can return the force of a sparrow. Because to the extent that you are strong is the extent to which I will survive. I am looking for the return of the Calypsonian. It's very tough to be one. Who among us can really, in terms of our young people especially, can really step into that Calypsonian shoes and say, okay, I will be a genuine Calypsonian, a hero of the people rather than a celebrity that can go into a recording studio and throw something quick. Because when Sparrow was great and Executor was great, it was because they gave their lives to cause. And what is more, without material compensation most of the time. But what they did was they took the problems of the world on their shoulders and they distilled it to universal truths. Now, to the extent that we will be able to do this, the world is global now, there's no question about it. But to the extent that we can find a Calypsonian or we can return the force to the Calypsonian, so that coming out of it, we will see a generations that are capable, like a Michael Jackson, to sing a song that impacts the world. 33 million sold is the extent that will only happen if the integrity of that form is retained. To the extent that he can look at this global world, look at the dynamics of it, distill it to truth, and then feed that truth, not just to us. If it speaks to us, understand that it will speak to people in Norway and Finland and so on. But it must be truths. It must be deep. It must have force. It must come from a deeper place.